Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy that we're all here tonight at Lula Lounge. This is proof that dreams come true, almost. Actually, if dreams really came true, I'd get to sing in the big room, but tonight's not the night. Anyway, first off, I should thank my lovely partner from Lula Music and Arts, Tracy Jenkins. This wouldn't have been possible without her help. Now, some of you are from the arts world, and some of you are from the political world. Well, you're in luck, because tonight we're going to bring it all together. Music. Who can play it, and where, and when, and how? This is political. History has shown us that totalitarian governments don't tolerate musicians very well. Jazz musicians were a big target of this. Stalin condemns jazz. The great Russian trumpeter, Eddie Rosner, he was like the Russian Louis Armstrong. He was sent to the Gulag. And don't even get me started on theocracies like Iran. Ayatollah Khomeini called music opium, a poison that should be eliminated. Luckily, Cuba's history is less horrible. After the revolution in 1959, if you spoke out, or rather sang out, against Castro's government, you would be banned from the airwaves. The full list of banned musicians was never published, but among them are some pretty big names. Grammy Award-winning saxophonist Paquito de Rivera, Bebe Valdez, the Queen of Salsa, Celia Cruz, and even Gloria Estefan. Cuban policy at the time also kept students from learning jazz. You see, this music was seen as an import from American imperialists and therefore subversive. Jazz was and still is the music of freedom. Young musicians would learn Bach in school, but jazz in back alleys. But where did this powerful sound come from? The harmonic and melodic vocabulary of jazz is grounded in the blues. That undeniably comes from the African American experience. But jazz from New Orleans, that has African American and Caribbean influences. That means that Cubans were present at its birth and continue to be involved in its evolution. There even used to be an overnight ferry from New Orleans to Havana just to show you how integrated the musical cultures were. Early in the 20th century, several American musicians adopted the Cuban habanera rhythm. Now, that sounds a little like this. I'm worried, I'm watching you. All right. It sounds like this. Was that right?
Yeah.
Close enough.
So no.
You're the drummer. It would have been cooler with drums. But listen for that, and you'll hear it. Leading up to the 40s, Latin American melodies and rhythms made their way north into the States, while the sounds of American jazz filtered south, through the Caribbean and down through the Americas. Musicians and dancers across the entire region became familiar with both musical languages. Large big bands and swing, they used to play rumbas and congas. Those are two types of Afro-Cuban music, and those developments laid the foundation for the fusion of jazz and Cuban music. That fusion started to really bloom in New York, under the leadership of musicians like Mario Bozza, Dizzy Gillespie, and Chano Bozo. Afro-Cuban jazz captured the hearts of the American public. That growth went well into the 1950s. Now, when we reached the Cuban Revolution, the music branched into two, and the sounds you hear from musicians left in Cuba is really quite different than the sounds from musicians who left Cuba. Tonight we're going to hear from two really wonderful Cuban jazz musicians, Hilario Duran and Augie Mitchell. So, thank you all for coming. Thank you to our guests, and welcome to Salon West.